Got it.
Hi everyone, this is your favorite friend Jay, and today I'm talking to a very interesting person. As I was flipping through the internet, watching, like things that I'm interested in, and you know how obsessed I am with Halloween Horror Nights from Universal Studios, when I found this original story, The Bride of Frankenstein Lives. And as I was flipping, I thought, wow, this a book? Is this a comic? Is this something that I should watch? And then I see the name Lucas Culshaw, and I was so intrigued by this person, like, who is he? And when I opened his Instagram and his website, and I saw these amazing, horrific paintings where he just paints some of our nightmares, things that made me feel like vintage horror meets, like a bit of a gamey, graphic-y kind of art. So here I'm interviewing Mr. Lucas and kind of asking him to tell me, how did his mind create this magnificent stories, and why was it even in Halloween Horror Nights? How did it get there?
Hi.
Hello.
That's a lot to digest. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah. Uh, Thanks for finding me online. That was very cool of you. You reached out about a week or two ago, and yeah, started just touching base, and yeah, mostly for I've been Halloween Horror Nights for I think like 14 years now. I'm the lead concept artist mostly for their characters as they call them, and then on street stuff, a lot of characters there and illustration work. Yeah, I think yeah, I'm it's a lot. It's a big show, and lot of gears moving, a lot of people to make that job work, and I'm just a small fraction of it. Um, and I'm very proud to be a part of a pretty well known show like that. As the artist, it's kind of a cool gig to have.
So why did you pick The Bride of Frankenstein Lives? What was this originally your story, or did you base it on an old film or something like that?
Well, I don't really have much input in what our park decides as they're going to be using for their characters each year. It's usually a surprise every year for me to find out what we're working on. So we have creative director John Murdy and Chris Williams, and also on the streets, Pat Quinn, that I usually take my visual cues from. So they'll usually send me like a packet of everything that they want done for the year, treatments, ground plans and stuff like that. And then they kind of like they're the ones who push me in the direction. I don't have any say in that, which is totally cool by me. I like to just kind of like figure it all out as the year goes on, and be surprised what we're having in store for all the fans and guests at the event in park. It was really cool. Bride of Frankenstein, that was fun. It was we've been really deep diving back into like the Universal monsters. They really were a cornerstone of Universal Studios. And it's kind of fun to breathe some life back into them, so to speak, and have our own little like Halloween Horror Night spin on them. Brian Frankenstein was cool. I'm a big fan of that movie. Watch it every Halloween. So it's
So,
yeah.
a horror fan, why are you drawn to the scary and the morbid? Why? I can feel it like in
I,
your art.
well,
It's dominant.
there's so many like special effects, especially the older movies. You could see like it's like tactile. You can see where like a human hand has like crafted makeup or the sets and stuff like that, and really you can kind of see the gears behind the clockwork of the movie. And it's like, as somebody who likes making like short films and movies and stuff like that, and like grew up with like Ray Harryhausen films, I really am drawn to the horror aspect of it. It's a really cool genre, you know.
And you really knew that you wanted to be an artist from an early age, or did you want to be something else and it just came along?
I think early age I wanted to be a doctor that dealt with like, bones and anatomy. I was all into that. So and I just but then I just started like my mother is was an artist, part-time freelancer growing up. That was her passion. And my father, he liked to doodle, but he worked construction. So I kind of like were they kind of helped me lend that environment to be an artist of some sort. And then a lot like you're a kid, you a lot of drawing competitions and stuff. I would always submit my art to and do okay in it. And then I just was like turned a hobby into a kind of a thing I did. So
Oh, wow. I'm kind of like that too because I started as a pharmacist. Actually, my mom was a writer, but she really wanted me to become this, like doctor, someone with a profession. She was a writer and she had to give it up to get married and have kids and blah, 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 and become a housewife. So she really didn't want me and my sister to leave the artistic realm, and she invested it in us since a very young age. Like, follow your dreams, be whoever you are meant to be. So I graduated pharmacy school, but here I am, my friend, being, like an artist, writer, poet kind of person. So I salute the idea that they just pushed you into to become an artist at an early age, because it was kind of like a struggle with my mom. She wanted me, but she didn't want me. She wanted me to have a normal life, but she still wanted me to be the artist I was meant to be.
I definitely had the conversation with my dad. Pulled me over one day when he said, "Hey, I can talk to you about it. I know you like this art stuff, but I don't want you to be a broke artist." Oh, sorry to disappoint you, Dad.
So, okay, so just the first time that you held the pen or you just started drawing, what did you draw? And what did you feel like it was something that,
I don't know. I think I just would just draw whatever I just saw. I like I was like Star Wars was like a big influence of growing up. Like just all like the cantina scene. Like would watch that over and over again. All the monsters there, and then I think my mom. I was trying to draw like a TIE fighter. My mom was like, "Oh, these are just shapes. This is like a circle and a couple squares." And I was like, "Oh, I get it." And she just then everything was like a shape. She like, "Here's this shape, this is a shape," and then would build on it. And yeah, so yeah, that was always fun. It was always fun. It was just a hobby. It was always just a hobby I did. And I think what happened was a lot of people responded to this hobby, like my sketch pad. I would just doodle on because it was just like something that would help me think. I still kind of do it when I'm in meetings. I'll draw. When I was in school, I would draw, and it would help me for some reason help me like retain the information along the lines of like like some like math equation. I'd be like,
yeah,
oh, remembering that a monster I drew at the same time. Go, okay, I remember that. It helps help my recall a lot. Um, and then just a lot of reading, like a lot of like books that had monsters or like fantastical like art on the covers like lent me to like that type of world too of like reading and writing and I don't know, it just kind of like all that side of like drawing kind of opened a lot of worlds for me. Just like like I guess intellectual pursuits of some sort and artistic pursuits. So kind of that was always kind of neat. I don't it'd be weird if I was like I don't know other any other thing that kind of like would lend itself like music. My mom would had us take a lot of like music classes. Like I did violin and saxophone. My brother was in piano. It never stuck, but it like helped us like kind of like realize what we wanted to do later in life. So
totally.
kind of
It feels like an artist usually immerses themselves in, like all the other worlds until you finally decide on what you want. Like I wanted to join a band at some point, and I also wanted to be a singer. And
yes.
like I think I took a lot of kind of like free hip hop choreography dance classes, but just I felt like they all invested in the writing itself. So I kind of see what you're coming from. I totally
Yeah, I
get
think like that form of expression, you're trying to figure out how to express yourself in like the most you version of it. Yeah, I took dance classes and like all that's like I took all that stuff too, just to kind of like figure out how to like say this is me. I'm an introvert, so I don't like talking too much
Me
in
too.
public, or like, public speaking and stuff like that. That was never my jam. So I think like drawing was like my way of like talking. So I'd rather just like draw like a hamburger if I wanted a hamburger.
So, okay, this is gonna sound crazy, but did you feel like you could communicate with someone you like or you had a crush on using your art? Because I thought that writing lengthy texts of poetry to the guys I liked would make them like me more. So, did you ever draw something to just,
Of course, that was the easy way. That was the easy way to impress a girl. I think that's how I think I drew for my now wife before when we started dating. I slipped her a zombie drawing that said, "Are you free tonight to go out?"
I
You know,
love it. That's,
some stuff like that. Puns will always go along with my art. So fun
yeah,
stuff.
I can feel it. So, where did filmmaking come into the picture? When?
I mean, always. I mean, it's always been like there, like hanging out in the background. I mean, in English class, we did have like an assignment to like film like some story of ours, like write a story and film it and get some kids together and make a little like short film. Um, yeah, so we just grabbed my uncle's camera and made like a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles spoof with some friends. I wish it still was around, but it
I
got
wish I could see it.
yeah, yeah. It was the first time like writing something and then filming it. It was kind of cool, and then it kind of like didn't seem like that was like a real career path. So I was like, oh, that's just something that's not for me. So I put it away for a long time. And then when I moved out to California, it seemed like everybody was like making stuff, and I was like, oh, these are just everyone's doing this thing. So I started jumping into that. Made my first feature film that I wrote and produced when I was like 28, and that came out, did all right, and then just started like going, well, I kind of want to direct instead of just write and produce this stuff. I want to like be more hands on, and so I started like just jumped into a short film right away. That was a creature feature, and then like a bunch of like just started filming. So whenever I have the time off, I have like a lot of downtime as a freelancer sometimes. So I get like about a month or two off. I'll go film something.
Okay. So one of the movies that I really loved by you was The Amazing Mr. Emoji. So can you tell
Oh,
me please more about it? Because I want to recommend it to everybody. It's such a fun movie
oh,
with really an amazing actress who is Carly. I really love her so much. So please give me more scoop.
oh yeah. I think that was something wife and I came up with in line in Disneyland. We were just chatting about some stuff. And then we were like, oh, let's just like emojis were kind of like the big coming out and everyone was using them. I'm like, well, that'd be cool. Like I was like where'd they come from? And so we just made this little dark origin story where there's like a Willy Wonka devil-ish type character who's behind all creating all the emojis, and it's usually by tricking someone into an emotion and then turning them into the emoji. And he does that by like accidentally sending his phone to people, like his magical phone to people, and it kind of like they got hooked on it. And it's just like a guy who's into it, and his wife, girlfriend, fiance, whatever at the time, is just like not cool with it at all, and it turns into this like her being kidnapped and meeting Mr. Moji and a showdown of sorts. And yeah, it's kind of fun. A little dark twist at the end, like Twilight Zone. It's always like a jam of mine. So
Very, very, and coming from your twisted mind too, so it gets to spin even on the Twilight Zone aspect of it. So I
yeah,
really loved it.
that was fun. I like jumped into like learning how to like do like all the editing and like CGI of like world. I had to like turn this guy's head into a floating emoji head, like a couple inches off his neck. So that was a lot of like work. I don't know. It was just I don't know. Like it was a lot of like work I enjoyed to do. Like and like think it's came along with like drawing too. Is like it wasn't like any like the results great and um all the all like when people watch it, that's fine, but like the creating of the work is always like the best part. Oh, this is my dog. She will come to say hi. um
Hello.
Want to say hi, Mo?
Please.
There
I
she
wish
is.
my cat was
There,
friendly.
she's shy. Anyways, yeah, so
My cat is a bitch, so I kind of get. Like Leo is evil. He wouldn't even say that. I kind of get it. I kind of get
She's
it.
camera shy. Yeah, she's camera shy. She likes to pester more than be on camera. Yeah, so anyways, yeah, like the like just like the work is always like the fun part, like the creating of it, making something with friends and like just like making something out of thin air has always been like really cool thing to do. And like, I grew up with movies. Like I was in the heyday of movies, like of like 80s like movies where there were just like a lot of like that genre creature stuff, Star Wars, all that. Yeah. So it kind of was always in my blood, all that stuff.
So,
So
what was the main inspiration for Continue 987? Because I feel this
um
movie is very visual and it's very beautifully made, but it's also it kind of has a lot about grief too. So it comes from a does it come from a personal space, or are you just trying to express something?
I was really depressed for like for I think about a decade, really like it was tough. Kind of like catharsis, get through it, get out of my system. But I didn't like want it to be like a diary of some sort. I just wanted to turn it about like the it was more like the grief of like loss of creativity. I like had like for about a year I didn't like pick up a pencil at all and draw for myself. And I still work, but like for myself, I just didn't feel like it.
Yeah.
And so I kind of like making movies, I think were also a part of like helping to be creative in a different way. So I would I dipped in that side a little bit more. But yeah, so this movie was just about like trying to like really get that creative spark back when like something awful in your life has happened. And it really didn't matter what the spark was that made you lose that inspiration that you usually have, like your muse is just gone, you just like lose it. So I kind of like wrote a movie about that with Yusuf, who's a producing partner of mine. He had like I didn't really want to take from my life stories too much at the beginning of it. So he had like all these like touchstones in his life. He's like, oh, these are like kind of the moments that I liked that I like kind of like led me because he was dealing with some stuff too. So it was just like a couple sad dudes going, sitting around a table talking about some stuff, and then sat down and wrote it in a few months. And then we kind of were like, I think we're gonna film this, and we just jumped in and filmed it. It was take that real quick. 1 second.
All
Sorry.
right.
Yeah, so we just decided to just like make a movie, a low budget movie, like in the vein of like a Richard Linklater slacker type movie where you had like no like really limited funds to make a movie. And but then I had just had the wild idea to like put a bunch of animation in there, which is like the thing that was bringing me a lot of comfort at the time was a lot of like old school video games, like side scroller platformer games.
Mario
So
saving the princess.
yeah,
Yeah.
I think yeah, like Mario, Metroidvania, like Castlevania, stuff like that. All those like platformer games.
Yeah.
So I like threw that like style in there, and yeah, that was kind of a daunting task. Fortunately, the pandemic came along, gave me a
Time to edit.
lot of free time to just go and animate for like months. Just jump in and go. I guess I'm gonna animate. I haven't done this before, like so. It was kind of a fun thing.
So I feel like drawing. So
What's that?
what did I cut you off? Because
Oh,
I
that's
did.
okay.
Is the dog here again? I can say
Yeah,
hi,
she's
please.
here. Yeah.
Come here. Okay. So I feel like Lucas, your life is centered about drawing. Like drawing is a huge part of your life, like trying to impress someone or just express yourself at times when it's dire. Even I think, do you start a film by just drawing something, or does it come like in text form or written form?
Um, I like kind of both a little bit. Sometimes I'll draw an image that I like. I go, oh, this is kind of neat, or an image captures my imagination. But then when I'm writing, I'll like if I'm stuck, I'll just start storyboarding. Like that's what I was one of my I storyboard a lot of music videos
I
over the
could
course of
see.
my career. Like, yeah, so I was doing that. So I'm able to like, so if you see like a lot of my films, I usually have like some sort of musical interlude in there, just because it's just like just been part of my life so much. I'm like, hey, just throw a little musical cutscene that I like. That's like a little music video of some sort in there. Um, yeah, so I'll just draw that. I'll draw something, draw a doodle, draw a sketch, just to kind of get my brain going, and then I will, yeah, and then I'll just incorporate it. I know like Miyazaki, the animator, he will just storyboard his stories. Like he'll just basically not write, he'll just storyboard. I'm not that awesome, but I will like storyboard quite a bit of it to get everything going. So
Okay.
maybe one day when I have like a time, like just to storyboard a whole like
Oh my
fantastical.
God, I'm gonna be there for the ride. I'm sure I'm gonna be following you and seeing what you're doing so far. This sounds like cool. And I'd see the movie coming out of that. That sounds so exciting, really. Wow. So, okay. So now since art and drawing is a big part of your life, how could you draw fear? Like since you draw a lot of scary stuff that really like kind of like wow. When I saw them, I was like, okay, this guy might haunt my nightmares in his drawings. So how could you draw fear? How could you manifest it? What is fear to you?
I don't know. I was like to draw fear. I don't know. It just like it's usually like try draw something someone has, and like it's usually they're scared of it like losing it. I think that's like a big pile of money. Like that I think I was like afraid it's gonna go away. I think that's like where it comes from. Usually is that fear. I don't really get scared, as in like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't things don't really scare me. I do get like I think the adult like kids are scared, like fear, they're like right. Adults have dread, you know. We're like just
Really?
something ominous is like coming to like, rock your happy day, So that's more of my jam. Yeah, like scary movies. Not
We're
too
more
scared on movies. I'll get surprised on a movie. I'll get like the jump scares or something like that. That'll surprise me, but I won't be like scared of anything. I usually don't. It's just fear is just an obstacle to overcome, usually,
yeah, you know what you mean. We're more scared of the recession or the economic decline. Now you should draw my fears regarding that.
Yeah.
I think this would be really scary to draw. I totally
Yeah,
get it.
it's yeah, that stuff is weird as an adult to be like, oh, it's just nothing you can like deal with at all. Like it's just this like big like cloud of nothing that you're like worried about. So
But as baby Lucas, as little Lucas, like was there your boogeyman, your vampire, your
mm,
ghost, or nothing? Wow,
clowns,
invincible.
like mostly clowns, I think. Clowns. I think when we were younger, we had some sort of like peeping tom in the neighborhood, and
Oh,
he would like be looking through our windows when we were like kids, and that kind of like my older brothers kind of have a fear of some dude outside our window. So
did
yeah.
this find its way into any of your drawings or never?
No, I mean just besides, I mean the only thing that scared me was like Scooby Doo, the skeleton that would like laugh. That laugh was terrifying to me. My older brother was scared of like the 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 T Rex in the Land of the Lost, old like Sid and Marty Krofft show, like that stuff when you're a kid, you're like always because you just don't know what it is. It's just like this like weird thing, You think it's so real too. That's the fun thing about all those old like shows. They just are like alive, and you're like, and you can't tell the difference. So,
Wonderful.
yeah, I'm
Okay,
I don't know how to turn off my my messaging system.
it's okay.
Yeah,
It's
the computer.
okay. It happens
Yeah.
to the best of us, no problem. So, what about depression? Like, how would you draw depression, being the talented artist you are?
Oh, I think I drew it. I think I drew it nice in that movie. In the movie, yeah. You
Okay.
when he sinks into the couch and just is lost in a sea of just like panic. Like that's the one.
Wow. Okay, okay. Now that no, that I get it. That I get it.
Yeah.
So what I want to know is what are you working on right now? Like, what is your current or your future project, especially as a filmmaker?
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I'm doing the Halloween Horror Nights. I'm on that every year. We're currently in the new season, which is cool. Not lips are sealed on what's going on there, but it's fun stuff. Um, but as in film wise, we've got a few things in development. One with Carly, as she wants, like, we're trying to like get a movie started with her and put some stuff. We're getting few things on the tracks on laid few tracks laid down on the floor to like get that moving forward, and then just a couple other things here and there that we're just trying to um just get going. It's like the making movies is always like a lot of false starts, you know. It's got to be realistic. It's a lot. It's especially when you want to like make something cool. It's hard to like, you know, this day and age, independent filmmaking is really tough to um just kind of like get everything like get it going. It's a daunting task. It's a giant it's a giant what do you call it? It's a giant endeavor just to get going. It's but yeah, so but I got some stuff I'm writing. I like to I got like a nice little like paranormal detective type story I'd like to get going on myself that I've been just like working on the side too. That's like a little horror like movie fun. So
Okay, wonderful. Fine. Okay. So, I'm really excited to talk to you, Lucas, and I really love seeing your art and just talking to you about art and fear and everything in between in general. It's just such a pleasure for me. Uh, I really, really hope we continue this maybe after the next movie and make another interview. And so
yeah,
nice to talk to you.
awesome. Cool. Cool. So did you have fun?
I had so much fun. Did you have fun?
Of course. Of
Awesome.
course. So it's always good just chatting about, you know, a little bit of ego, like ego stroking going on right now. So thank you. Thank you for that.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much. And I hope you guys enjoy watching this interview. Okay.
Yeah.
Bye bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you. Thank you.